Hello everyone, welcome to Amy's Bookshelf. Please forgive the messy background, the broken out face. I just needed to film my mid-month or my end of September wrap up, and I keep putting it off, and I'm not gonna put it off anymore. So for the end of September, at the certain halfway point, well, the 13th, I think it was, whatever it was, I had read 29 what I thought books, but actually 30. So now I have the remaining 16 books to tell you about. So hopefully it's not going to be too long. I'm hopefully going to remember everything. So let's see. It's been a little crazy in terms of memory with books and whatever, but we're going to go for it. Let's do this now. So we're going to go in reverse order because that's the way it's showing up on my app. So I read The Leavenworth Case by Anna Katharine Green. And I hate to say it, but I was really bored while listening to it. This one is about a woman, well, two women who are cousins, and they are assumed, well, let me back up a bit. Their uncle gets killed, and instantly one of them is the heiress and the other one is assumed guilty because of several key pieces of evidence. The whole book follows the events of, I don't know, them trying to, like, I don't know, absolve Eleanor or whatever else. And it's all done from this man's perspective who is trying to save Eleanor and trying to help Mary. I was very bored. And it felt like, I know this is one of the first detective novels, but it felt very ancient, dinosaur-like compared to even the Victorian novels like Wilkie Collins that I've read. It just felt so slow, and it was like a courtroom case, but at the same time, I was listening to it on audio as I was driving, and I was so excited every time a chapter ended because I'm like, finally, one less chapter to read. And that was actually my attitude towards the end of the book. I was very disappointed in it, and I don't know why. It just didn't hit me right. I don't know if I'd try to read more from Anna Katharine Green, but I was very sad with the first detective novel by a woman. And I mean, it was an interesting mystery and all, but it was just way too long. Maybe that's the thing. It could have been like half the size and I would have been happy. It just seemed like every time something happened, it was like another thing. Okay, another thing. And I was just like, let's get to the end of the mystery, please. So disappointment. 3 stars. I also read Turn of the Screw by Henry James. This was my other author jar pull. It's like Anna Katharine Green was, and Turn of the Screw got 2 stars. So, firstly, let's acknowledge I don't like ghost stories in books. I typically don't like that premise. But then also, as I was reading, I just was very bored. And it felt like, I know it's a ghost story and I've heard bad things about it. So I wasn't shocked, but I really was just reading it for the sake of finishing a book. I don't even know if I would say I like Henry James' work enough to read more intentionally, but I might leave his name in the jar for next year and try The Ambassadors or The Portrait of a Lady next time, just to try a different work by him, because it was just not, it was not good. I don't know, it was just so slow. And that's for like a 115 page book or whatever it was. So yeah, disappointing. And I couldn't even tell you what it was about, except for a nanny who's taking care of kids and ghosts appear. And that was it. And it was just not my kind of thing, I guess. So moving on. So since the 13th, I put on the radio dramas of Chronicles of Narnia. Now, this is a series that I listened to as a radio drama growing up. I was invested in it. This is what introduced me to Narnia. I loved Narnia through this series, and I found the complete CD collection at the thrift store. And I have a very old car, so it has a CD player, and I was able to put in The Magician's Nephew, starting at the very beginning, chronological of how the CDs are meant to be played. And then I went to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and then I listened to The Horse and His Boy? Yep, that's the third one. So I listened to all 3 of those consecutively, and I loved it. It was like going back to my childhood. Fabulous. Really enjoyed all of the voice actors and all of the, I don't know, adaptations that they made for radio theater, and it was fantastic. Highly recommend listening to those. They are about 2.5 to 4 hours long, depending on the book, and I am enjoying my listen through of the series. I'm about to start Prince Caspian. I need to, but I am just happy that I have this access now to an old favorite of mine. I also read They Came to Baghdad by Agatha Christie. This one was a 4-star. It was good. I really enjoyed it, but I don't think it's a 5-star for me. This one follows a woman, I can't remember her name right now, but she is instantly in love, and I love how she's like a chronic little liar, and she's just always losing her job, and she's always in trouble. I just really enjoyed that she wasn't like the perfect woman. And basically she meets this guy and she falls instantly in love with him on a park bench, and she finds out she's going to Baghdad. She chases him to Baghdad. It's full of very much like spy espionage things, and it is just, yeah, it's an interesting one where you don't really know where it's going, but you know it's going somewhere. I liked it. I think it was a really cool storytelling way, especially through a woman who we don't really know how much we can trust in what she's telling people, but I think she's pretty truthful to the audience. So I think it was really interesting to read. I listened to it technically for a part of it, but highly recommend that one. It was a well done Agatha Christie in my opinion. A book that I also read was Tomatoes for Neela. This one is by Padma, and so this is quite a cute children's book, 5 stars. It's about Neela, who is learning about tomatoes and her favorite tomatoes and how they're impacting of her heritage. So she learns about different people in her past, different ways that recipes have been passed down, and ways you celebrate. So the pictures I thought were beautiful. I loved how it was about food, how it was about culture, and how it was about celebrating those who you cook with and love eating with. So really cute. Really recommend this picture book. I'm gonna be using it at work for sure. One of the books on my list apparently is The Complete Chronicles of Narnia, because I finished The Complete Chronicles of Narnia. So that's on there, even though that's not a separate book. So actually it's like 15 books. Oh well. So speaking of Chronicles of Narnia, I did finish The Last Battle. This one still gets a 3-star from me. Apparently, actually, I think I gave it 4 stars before. It gets a 3-star. I do not like that book. I feel like it is wrapping up the series in a good way, but I just don't like it. The characters are awful. Not like the human characters, but like Shaft the ape is just horrendous. And then poor Donkey, I can't remember his name right now, but he is just wrapped up in a bad situation. I think it's just a really difficult book to read for me because I love the world of Narnia so much. And the entire book is a bad Narnia until a certain point. And if you've read the book, you understand. So I don't like it. I know it's the finalizing of the world, but 3 stars. I think 3 stars are for like the last third. And then for Eustace and Jill who come back. Those are my 3 stars worth. And everything else, I don't like. So it is what it is. I also read 4 arcs, which I will direct you to the vlog that I put up of the weekend reading vlog, but I'll give you a quick synopsis of my thoughts here too. So the first one is The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict, Benedict? I don't know. This one, I really enjoyed the Christmas murder games. I enjoyed the puzzles, but I thought the puzzles could be varied. I really enjoyed this as a really interesting way to do a murder mystery set at Christmas and featuring the 12 days of Christmas. So I would recommend that for a Christmas murder mystery if you are interested in checking it out. I also read Hiders, Seekers, Finders, Keepers, How Animals Adapt in Winter. This one is by Jessica. Oh, I'm gonna ruin her name. I'm not gonna even say it. Here you go. This one I give 5 stars too. Fantastic. I love this book about hibernation and migration. I request picture books from NetGalley because of my work and who I am working with as children and wanting to see what kind of books I can recommend or bring into my center. This one is literally on its way to me right now, so I can use it at my work. That's how much I loved it and how much I support this book. So you should check it out and read it with your kids if you are at all interested in showing that to them. I think it's great for any age group. I also read Enola Holmes and the Elegant Escapade by Nancy Springer. This is the most recent Enola Holmes book. It gets a 4-star for me. I don't love the particular twist that it relied on for the entire mystery, but I thought it was a well-done mystery and well-done characters, and it was great to see how they were all interacting with the next phases of their lives. I can't say too much more because it is so deep into the series and it relies on so many previous books, but I will recommend continuing on with the series if you have started it. The last one was The Jane Austen Remedy by Ruth Wilson. This one unfortunately was a 2-star. I really wanted to enjoy it more, but I went in expecting a very brief synopsis of a person's life, like not brief synopsis of a person's life, but like a brief moment in Ruth Wilson's life, like a year or two. Whereas this book really dedicated to her entire life and how she was related to reading. So in that regard, it was a great book, but I was expecting something different, so my experience with it was lacking, and that's unfortunate. I do recommend it if you are interested in how a woman's love of reading starts with Jane Austen throughout her life, but please go in with the good expectations that it is not going to be a little short, concise, narrow window of time in her life as she was rereading Jane Austen, because that's what I was looking for and I did not see. I also read 2 more Bible books, which were Matthew and Mark. So I have finished the first 2 books of the New Testament. Great, enjoyable. I saw new things. It was wonderful. So the last book that I have to talk to you about is A Heart Restored by Elizabeth Maddrey. This one is a novella and it is very cute. It's about this fixer-upper and this woman who is going to fix up the house. She buys it to fix it up. And then a local handyman who is going to help her out with a few odd jobs, and it's a romance. It was really cute and sweet, and I do want to read more in the series just because of how it was written, and it felt well developed in spite of being a novella. And I also really enjoy the different characters and how they interacted, not just the romantic couple, and I really enjoyed this novella, especially for a novella. I feel like they often can be underdeveloped, and this one was not, in my opinion. So 5 stars, really enjoyed, excited to read more from that series. So those were the last 15 books I read in the month, including a bind up of a bunch. So please let me know down below what you have read from these books that I mentioned, or if you're going to pick them up going forward. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Also, if you would like to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.